Hi, my name is Scott Jenkins. I've been the head golf professional here at Lawrence Park Golf Club since 1999. We are now entering our second 100 years as we have just finished celebrating our first 100 years. Some of the things we'd like to tell you about the golf club, you're going to hear from our members, but a couple things I'd like to say. First of all, we have a wonderful golf club, a wonderful facility with wonderful members. We've had a great history. We've had our ups and downs, but we've had a great history over the last 100 years. We've had wonderful golf champions from Gene Forsythe to Sally Schickler to Steph Irvin on the men's side. Jack Ayton, Brett Kiefer, Ted Grassi, all multiple club champions and wonderful players over the years. I'd also like to recognize our wonderful staff here at Lawrence Park, exemplified by the fact that we've only had 4 golf course superintendents in our 100 years. That includes Joe Pereira, our first superintendent, Jerry Rice, who gave us a wonderful 43 years, and now Nick Kunick, who we assume will be our next longtime superintendent. So enjoy the video.
My favorite story about being at Lawrence Park was the year I had my hole-in-one in 2001. I was on hole number 3. It's the last year. It was hole number 3 because we switched to 9s after that. And when I got the hole-in-one, I saw it go in. I jumped up, they said 3 feet, and I landed funny on my right knee. And this was in August, and in November I was on a surgeon's table having knee surgery.
I didn't play a whole lot in those early years because I had 5 children and was a full-time employee of the Iroquois School District. But I always loved the game, and when I retired, I was able to play a lot more. In fact, one year I even got a hole-in-one. I became active in the Lawrence Park Historical Society and even wrote the book called Lawrence Park, in which I gave the golf course 4 whole pages. And it was really interesting to see a house where the golf course began. It was the Olone Farm. And eventually, and after it was 100 years old, it was torn down, and that's where the present clubhouse is now sitting. But we used to have good times in that Olone farmhouse with putting our, well, the guys did more, putting our heels up on the railing and just having a great time. But we also had some wonderful times here at the golf course that we know now.
Lawrence Park's name really says it all. It's a golf club, and golf has always been number 1, and yet there are all the amenities that go along with it to make it a golf club. Lawrence Park had very few employees when I started. It wasn't really, it was pretty basic. The turning point to me was when the course we were able to buy it from the GE. That was a turning point, and then improvement started. We had no water. They used to have to water the greens by individual man walk around with a hose and a sprinkler to do the greens. And we went through 3 sprinkling systems and finally had a newer building. We went through different grill rooms, you name it. But in the early days, the volunteers were the members of the club. They did a lot. I mean, did paddling. I remember couples getting together, cleaning out the kitchen in the springtime because we didn't have the help to do it. But it's been a great trip. I've enjoyed it, met a lot of people, and it's a friendly place to belong.
Lawrence Park is more than a golf course, it's a wildlife preserve. I remember that there was this blue heron that was in the creek by 9 and by 2. Beautiful, long neck. I think we called him Harry after a while. We've had a number of birds. I know there's a red-headed woodpecker, and that little woodpecker is only that big, but it makes a lot of noise. There was a snapping turtle that walked across 9 green. There was a time when my husband and I were golfing, and there was this big dog that walked across 6, and I go, it just doesn't look like a dog. But then it flipped its tail, and the tail was red. I go, it's not a dog, it's a red fox. But the best of the best is coming up 3, 2 bald eagles flew out of the trees in tandem. They were magnificent. This one trailed off, went down into the lake, skimmies and talons on the water and then came up with a big fish. Lawrence Park is more than a golf course, and we're lucky to be members here. Gary and I have been members for 37 years. We joined because my dad, Albert DeSanti, was a member here, and he wanted his grandsons to learn how to golf. And they were only 1 and 2 at the time. He was a great golfer. He was fun to be with. He died in 2002, and Jerry Rice was such a gem. He put a water fountain on number 6, and it has on there, Albert Bomber DeSanti. That's my dad. He loved this golf course, and so do I.
I've been a member a long time, so long that when I joined, Carl Wendell was the pro. And Carl used to say this was a club for the people, and he always said it was the people. And over the years, I realized what he meant. Now, because I've been a member so long, I'm not going to talk about all the nice things that go on at the club and all the fantastic views. I'm going to talk about the past in just a few seconds. And the past was everything that was done for this club was done for the people. And there's been some amazing involvements of the people here to increase the fun and enjoyment with the club. And it's always for the people.
My husband Nels and I joined the club in 1980, the same year that we got married. And I can vividly remember thinking, oh my goodness, with wedding expenses, a new house, and a club membership, that was a lot to swallow, but it was the best decision we ever made because we're still here and we love playing as much as we can.
33 plus years, and I've been very happy and grateful to be a member. I also served as president on the board of directors here from 1999 for 6 years as president. A couple of the accomplishments that I felt that we had as a membership that was kind of tough, but we got them through, are the walls that we put up in the bridge on number 9, the golf course renovation project that was approved by the membership in a good majority. But when we were counting the votes, we had an older gentleman that was against the project, and the first 25 votes, and they were done randomly, that they opened were no votes. And it was amazing because every time he said no, it got louder and louder. But fortunately, we ended up with 270 plus votes to about 160, so the project went through. One of the other major accomplishments that I think that I was very proud of as being president of the board, when we appointed Scott Jenkins as our pro. Scott came along, he was down in Treesdale and he had previously been at Oakmont, and he helped stabilize our pro shop, and which we are very grateful for, and I'm still happy to see that he's our pro here.
We have 3 generations that belong to this course. My mom, Gail Heibel, and my daughter, Taylor. And everybody knows Taylor since she was a baby, because she used to run around this course and run around the clubhouse. And now she is 19, going to college. Well, since I've been a member, I have 15 club championships. I have 9 in a row. I have 5 match play tournament championships, 4 in a row. I have 3 stroke play championships in my career since I've been here at Lawrence Park. That's my many accomplishments since joining this course. It has made me a better player.
So I ended up joining the club back in 2000, and very easy to meet people. But one of the first guys that I met or was introduced to was Terry Irvin, who was very instrumental in the revamping of the golf course. And he quickly invited my son and I to join him and his son for weekend golf. I didn't know many members at the time, so I said, that'd be great. I'd love to join you. Let's plan on it for the whole year. So I did. Little did I know that he went out in the first tee time, which back then was between 6:20 and 6:30 every weekend morning. I didn't think my son was ever going to talk to me again. Fortunately, I found another great group of guys and jumped in with them the following year, but oh, what a start it was.
One of my fondest memories here was it's my only hole-in-one I've had. It was on number 9 at the time. It's number 18. And every time I stand on the tee and that pin is back there on the right-hand corner, I'm thinking it's going to be my second hole-in-one. So my fondest memory is my hole-in-one here.
Back in the 60s, 50s, the number one tee up here had a little pro shop up there. And I was a little caddy that helped out over there. Also, if people don't remember, I'm not sure, back in the 90s or whatever, there was a tree that fell down on the bridge that comes across the creek. It damaged it so much it couldn't be used, and the club had to create an entrance off of East Lake Road through the wooded area up there. It came in next to number 11 green, and the runway, or the road, whatever you want to call it, path, came down around 10 fairway in the rough down to where the maintenance people have their entrance road coming onto the course. Also, when my children were growing up, we would come down here in the wintertime, and on number four green, the hill there, the kids and their friends and others would be sled riding during the wintertime down the hill, having a great time. For people that don't know, way back when, there used to be a hotel down where the GE picnic ground is, and there used to be a train, I believe it was a train that came down from up there down to that area. When my oldest son got married, he and his wife, they got married here at the golf course, and the end of that ceremony, we came back up here to the banquet room and had our reception.
The fondest memory I have is the old course. Since they switched it in 2000, I believe. The back nine was the hardest, which should be the front nine, and so forth. Let's see, I have had a hole-in-one on 14. I don't remember what year that was. I'd had 4 since. That's all. I love it here. It's the greatest course in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Well, they asked me to come here today because when I was 16 years old, I started working here for the superintendent, Jerry Rice. Well, Jerry was a great guy to work for. He taught me a lot of life lessons and being responsible and things like that. My dad used to caddy for him here. That's how I learned the game. He was a very good golfer. He played in the city tournaments, and he was a 2-time club champ. Some of my best times were caddying for him. That's on weekends. I got to know all his friends, and it was really a good time. I got away from golf for 20 years or so because of hunting, fishing, and other things, and family obligations. But then I joined here again in 2005, and I met a group of real good guys that I play with now. And like Dr. Bill said, it's all about the people here.
I remember being 4 years old, and my dad got me a hot pink golf ball with the number 4 on it because I was 4. And I had that and a cut down 5-iron and a putter. And Lawrence Park was the babysitter. I would walk around the course with my mom and dad, Nels and Karen White, and play some, roll down the hills some. But it was always a really enjoyable time, and I carried the game with me throughout my life. Rejoined in 2020 with my husband, Nicholas, and we have carried on that tradition of just enjoying a date night together on the links like my parents did.
I'm going to tell a story about a couple of old timers that have since passed. Palmer Zaroli and Joe Buccarelli. I joined with some friends in the mid-90s, and we came from municipal golf, even though we had played a lot of EDGA events and knew lots of the good players around town. This was quite a change, and we were totally impressed with the facility, with the shape the course always seemed to be in, and our fellow players. We had some real strong players: Brett Kiefer, Joe Casano, Tony Bonacella, Tony Pepicello, Chris Downey, Billy Coper, real good players, and we respected them, of course. But we had one issue amongst ourselves. We felt we were pretty decent players, but we couldn't match up to those guys' scores. We would hear the grumblings in the grill room and the, hey, how'd you guys play? We were shooting in the high 70s. They were shooting in the low 70s. A couple of my guys, boy, we got to pick it up. We're in a deficit. These guys are for real. I said, it'll take time. We'll learn the course and everything. One day we were sitting in the grow room doing our kibitzing about not matching up to the good scorers, and two older gentlemen were sitting in their standard spot drinking pictured Labatt, Palmer and Joe, and they were always very friendly, and they heard us. They said, you guys need to change your approach. You're doing some things wrong. You gotta score better. And of course, we were attentive and, yeah, what's that, Palmer? What, got some suggestions? He goes, yeah, buy us a picture of Labatt and we'll pass on some good information. So of course we did, and sat down with them, and I said, okay, let's hear it. What are we doing wrong here? And he goes, well, Joe and I are getting older. We play every day. We shoot 72 every day. I said, every day, Palmer? He goes, sometimes 73 if I finish the hole, because we quit when we get to 72 on the scorecard. Might be number 13, might be number 14. That's when we walk in to get another picture of Labatt. True story, two real gentlemen, and they were some of the first people we actually yucked it up with in the grill room.
So I'm a collegiate golfer for Gannon University, and sometimes the competition and the tournaments can be really exhausting, and you lose sight of why you're putting yourself through all of that. But then when I come back home and I make that turn into Lawrence Park and I see the course and the people, I'm reminded of how much I love the game because of how much I love this course. Lawrence Park Golf Club is my second home.
So the best story is, at least down here at Lawrence Park over the years, the many years, is the food improvement, let me tell you. And over the years, you guys have really done a commendable job, and it's really up to high caliber now. So the old guys that I used to play with when I first joined were a bunch of old timers named Ron Whipple, Eddie Dubain, Jack Ayton, Jack Anderson, a whole bunch of guys that we worked together at GE initially and some different places. They were already older at the time that I met them. And I was a young guy, I was 24 years old. They took me under their wing and played with them every Saturday and Sunday. I played a lot of golf back then, a lot of golf. Usually Saturday and Sunday were 36 holes each day. Played in the morning with them and my wife in the afternoon. And then took Monday off and played Tuesday through Friday, the couples league. So it was a lot of golf back then.
I just remember joining this club in 1994 and walking up to the first tee as a full member and just like being so happy and being able to just play this course, and the course has just been phenomenal all these years. Scott Jenkins been a great pro, and the people I've met have been so phenomenal, and I've just enjoyed it phenomenally. And it's just the best value in the history of golf. I mean that seriously. It is just a wonderful place. The service and everything's fantastic.
20 years ago, I got an invitation to join the club, and I told my wife I was going to join Lawrence Park, and she said, go ahead. I wrote the check, put it in the mail, and I told her it was non-refundable. So ever since then, I've been a member. I love it here. The reason I joined was because of the convenience, because of my hectic schedule. Didn't know when you could play, when you couldn't play. And when I had time off, I was able to come and enjoy it. And course is great, beautiful, the lake, everything is just wonderful here as far as the aesthetics and the superintendents and all that. Great shape. 20 years, been hitting the range and playing golf and enjoying all the memberships and all the people that I've met. Played senior league for a while. It was great because you was always meeting new guys every week because they never remembered you. But so now I'm in that category. And no, just a great place, good camaraderie, great place to be, great place to have some fun.
First thing we did was join. My husband said, this is a no-brainer. We don't have to go across town. It's right in our neighborhood. So we joined, and we both were working. So we did the Friday couples, and then I did the Monday night league, and I got involved. We had a big group, and I got to know a lot of the members because we were a very enthusiastic group.
Well, Lawrence Park, what a great facility. I mean, you can't ask for a better view from the dining room area and the grill room and the patio. And there's so many things that happen because of the patio. You have crowds out there all the time, and you have people watching you, and some are rooting for you, some are rooting against you, and it's just a fun time to hit shots into that green and watch your reactions. We were playing in a scramble a couple years ago for one of the charities, and we had our tee shots over on the 9th hole, and my tee shot went over the pin was back and to the right and went over the hill. And we were watching, there was a guy drinking a beer up on the patio, and he didn't even budge. He looked at it and nothing happened. So we go up to try to find the ball, and we looked short of the green and it wasn't there. We looked past the green and it wasn't there. And so I said to my partner, I said, well, why don't you go look in the hole and see what's in it? And the guy says, Titleist 4. And I go, yeah, that's my ball. And so we looked up at the guy drinking the beer, and I go, did you see it go in? He goes, yeah. I said, you know, that was a hole-in-one. He said, yeah. And he wasn't impressed with it at all, and we thought that was kind of funny. So that was one of our really good stories. Luckily, it was a thing where it was a partnership thing where I bought a few beers and I got off the hook pretty cheap.
The best part of Lawrence Park is
the birdie butter.